Joining me now to talk more about this hot button issue is the founder and managing attorney at California sports lawyer, Jeremy Evans. Jeremy, welcome. Let's get right into it. Can you explain what this law will do?
Sure, thank you. So it really does three important things. One, it allows student athletes to engage with an attorney or an agent basically immediately. That was something that was barred previously. Second thing that it does is it allows student athletes to enter the marketplace to gain endorsement deals or sponsorship deals, things like that, that they were not allowed to do before. And then the third thing that it does is that it forbids universities from taking away scholarships if they pursue one of these endorsement deals.
So which NCAA athletes will this affect and how?
Sure, really good question, because I think there's a lot of press on this going on, and it is a big issue. But the reality of it is that the marketplace is going to decide who and where. And so what we're really talking about is the top upper echelon athletes in the NBA and in the soon to be in the NBA or soon to be in the NFL. And so basically NCAA students in those two sports that are at the top sort of upper echelon of those sports. So really we're talking about a very small group of people because the market can only take so much. And so these shoe sponsors, apparel sponsors, whatever it may be, whatever brands, they're really only be going after the ones that have the big followings and the significant success for the future.
So how are these brands already working with these athletes? How does it work? They're wearing their logo during the game and that's generating money?
Sure, and that's a really good question too, because ultimately right now, so let's say a lot of the major universities have apparel deals with, let's say, Under Armour or Nike or Adidas. And I think UCLA's deal with Under Armour is $300 million. USC's got its own deal. Ohio State's got its own deal. So basically what happens is they have a patch on their uniform, whether the Nike swoosh or the Adidas step pattern or whatever it may be. So that's how they're currently working with the universities. But it's in a university to apparel deal. The athletes are not necessarily involved other than just wearing the uniforms.
I see. So we don't have this debate when it comes to basketball and hockey. So why are we having it when it comes to basketball and football? Why is it different? How do they work differently?
Really good question. And I think this is another interesting point that a lot of people don't recognize or understand is that, the NCAA has kind of been like the kicking dummy, so to speak. And ultimately, it's not the NCAA's fault. It's the NFL and the NBA who have rules in place that require these students that graduate from high school to go to college. For example, the NBA has the one and done rule, where you have to go for at least 1 year before you can enter into the NBA draft. Now, the NBA has talked about a potential rule in 2023 that would get rid of that, but I don't know if that's going to happen. In the NFL, you currently have to be a junior before you can enter the draft. The Major League Baseball, NHL, and pretty much every soccer league in the world does not have those rules. So you can be a 17-year-old student athlete and choose between, do I want to go pro or do I want to enter into the draft? And I think that freedom of choice is the big key here, and it's probably why this law came about.
So essentially, it sounds like it's a systemic issue that goes beyond the NCAA. So the NCAA did release a statement. In an earlier statement, they mentioned the word confusion, that this would cause confusion. Athletes would be treated differently. And they would, because this is a state law and it would only affect athletes in California. Do you think that is fair?
I think those are legitimate issues. I think ultimately, it's like the old saying, as California goes, so goes the nation. I think this is probably something that we're going to see in other states, but it does provide for some serious issues. One, what happens when the NCAA says that California athletes are now forbidden from participating in championship games or in the playoffs because those are sanctioned by the NCAA or the college football playoff? Or what happens when a student in Arizona chooses to go to a California school because they have the ability to maybe earn more endorsement dollars? Now, I think that second part's probably less concern because ultimately, I think the free market is a good thing, and I think that these student athletes have the ability to sort of enter in that marketplace is probably a good thing. So I think the major issue is going to be how the other students react and how the NCAA responds to this.
It should be really interesting to see how it plays out down here. Thank you so much for your insight.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Stay with CBS Los Angeles, continuing coverage of student athlete endorsement law, including new reaction from the Pac-12 coach, and get updates anytime on CBS LA.